Hello, everybody. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Wave. Say hello. Let me know. Let's see how many people's in here. We got 5. Hi, Kathy. How you been? Awesome. Hey, RD. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I have melted. We had storms come through. We thought it was going to be cooler. No, it's 93 today. Heat index is 105, so yeah, not very cool. We should have a full house today. Awesome. Awesome, Kathy. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I've got a fan up here that's right where the vent is, so it can force the air down here. The problem with this room is the air conditioner's upstairs in the bedroom, and it vents to here, but it has to go through the bathroom, the bunk room up here, and then drop down to get to here. So yeah, it's just. Hi, Pam. We're thinking about getting a portable AC for in here. They make them for RVs, and they vent to the outside, but they're little bitty things, but they flat put out some air. But we got all 3 air conditioners going. Well, I tell you, when Minnesota got severe damage yesterday, so did Wisconsin, and it's just unbelievable. No, I mean, well, in an RV, you live in a sieve. Whatever's outside's coming in, and whatever's inside's going out. You just live with it, deal with it. But we paid, for the other rig, we had the extra, double pane windows that was like storm windows, things like that. And we've got same insulation type that you would put in your house in here, but the way it's made, it's compressed, so it's even insulated better. The heat and the cool doesn't come in through the walls, it comes in through the windows because we don't have double panes on this rig. So, yeah, that's on our grocery list to get. Plus, I want to get new blinds. The blinds that are on here, I would not pay what they ask for the blinds that go in an RV. No, I'm just going to get blackout curtains that are insulated and put them up. And I'm going to put a one-way tint on the windows, so you can't see in during the day. Hi, Jeremy. We just had us a long conversation about Mark Myers. He's a really nice young man. He's camping out west right now. He's doing a lot of boondocking. He's dealing with the passing of his wife. So he's getting better. They rebuilt the camper from the ground up, and they were going to travel in it. And she wasn't feeling good and went to the doctors, and they said she had stage 4 cancer and she was gone in 2 weeks. She had no idea. She thought it was all the work wearing her down on the rig, the little camper. So he took the camper out, and he's been traveling ever since. He gave the house to the kids and went to go deal with the thought of losing her. So I keep him in my prayers, my thoughts. I see little, pictures and stuff that he posts. Some of the places he goes to is awesome. You ordered your sample book? Awesome. Now you're going to need to get the index cards and cut them to fit, Kathy. Don't forget. We got a few minutes for anybody, get the rest of the class in here. I want to make sure everybody's here because it doesn't matter what time we leave. Okay, we just want to get through the class so that everybody knows what's going on. I'm a little tired today, so you have to excuse me. I'm not my normal chipper self today. 4 o'clock in the morning we was woke up. Hi, Kendra. It thundered, it lightning, it lit up the sky. It shook the house. There at one point I thought we was just going to just topple over. Hi, Vanessa. Glad you made it. Got a couple of more minutes. Howdy, bunny. Tomorrow I will be cleaning. I'm looking for something. I'm always looking for something. I've moved it somewhere and can't find it. All right, wait a minute. The square motif, you talking about the block tatting? Hi, Corinne. Are you talking about the block tatting piece that I did? Was it from class Tuesday or last Tuesday or last Thursday? In this class, last Thursday. I can't remember. Hi, Tanya. If it's available, it would be up on the website. Let me go see. What, Pam, do you know what I taught last week? I don't even have my book available to tell you. Pink square. Oh. I don't think that's it. That was the button piece. You're talking the button motif. I know I want to find it. It's somewhere down here. Oh, the square piece. Yes, it's available all over the internet. I haven't got it up on the site. I've got to find it in the site stuff. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I can share that with you. It's all over the web, but I'll send it to you today in the email. Let me write myself a note so I don't forget to send it after class, okay? It's not exactly like mine. They got so many different ones. This one I've had for a long time. I bought this back when I bought the first rig because I needed something to, carry my jewelry in. But now I got a jewelry box that locks up. So, all right. The square motif for Kathy. And let's stick that over here so I can do that right after class. And I'll send it to you right after class, Kathy. Not a problem. Okay, first and foremost, welcome everybody. I want you all to do me a favor, and that little thumbs up underneath the video, I want you all to click that for me and give me a like. That helps our algorithm. All right? Now, after class, this will be up for public viewing. So if you need to review anything, you can. All right? The quarter pages do look too small, but they're really not for small motifs like you're practicing your rings, Corinne. You're practicing chains. They fit perfect inside there. You just got to make sure you cut your pages, your index cards to fit down in it. Okay? I use the small ones for just single elements. Okay, does that make sense? Now, you can buy the extra pages if you want. They're pretty reasonably priced, and you can get all half pages if you want. It's up to you. So, and I bought extras. I had a lot of jewelry. I still got a lot of jewelry. That's my husband. All right. Now, Tanya, you asked 2 questions on the video. Let me answer your questions. You wanted to know why the needle tail on the block tatting was so short. Well, it's because I wasn't doing the whole pattern. You would add more thread if you are tatting the whole pattern, but it really doesn't take much thread because this is a small bookmark pattern. Do you tape tatting to paper? You can use double-sided tape, or you can use glue. You can use Fabri-Tac, okay? That will do a permanent hold, or you can do regular Elmer's glue. This is a little bottle because my Elmer's, it's a big bottle, and I just use this little bottle and put what I need in it. I use a lot of this for basting when I'm sewing because it washes right out. So if you use Elmer's glue, remember it's coming off. All right. Now back to Tanya. The whole pattern shouldn't take you more than 8 to 12 inches, okay, on the tail, okay? And that may be overshooting, but I'm one that I'd rather have more to make sure I have enough than less and have to fix things, okay? Your other question was, how do you print on index cards? Well, your printer should have settings in there for envelopes and custom pages and so forth. You set it up for the 4x6, okay? Or whatever size index cards you have. They have the custom sizes in there for index cards. Word has a template for index cards to print on, okay? You can get that. To tell you how to set it up, you will have to get your owner's manual for your printer. I'm not a tech person. That came straight from my husband, and he's the tech person in the family. Trust me, I can't even use my TV. He has to turn it on and turn it off because I don't know how. So, that's it. I got your questions answered, and I got another one from Vanessa. Okay? And the question was, she has a pattern she's working on. It's a cross pattern, and it comes from this book. Now, because it came from a book that is under copyright, I cannot show the pattern, but I can walk you through what you need to do with the segment that I can use. So pay close attention. When I drop down here to the desktop, you're going to see a sliver of that pattern. All right, so let me do that, and we'll get to rolling on through this. There we go. Now I'm going to zoom in right here to this. All right, let me get this over so you can see. All right, now you asked why you can't use a shuttle and a ball. Okay? Why do you need so much, 2 shuttles? What does second shuttle do? Okay? First of all, your first element is right here, dead center of the cross. You're going to tat this ring with all these picots branching off, except for here at the base. Now, when you do your ring, you reverse your work, and then you do your chain, and you join it to the first picot. And you move on around the pattern, okay? Following her guideline. Now, one thing I will tell you, when doing patterns in books, you need to know if the tatter is a left-handed tatter or a right-handed tatter. Because if you're a left-handed tatter, a left-handed designer, it's going to be opposite what the alphabetical order is. Okay? Now, in Ankars, because you have so many strange joints and stuff, and other technically sound patterns, you need to know a lot more than this, okay, in order to do the pattern, because left-handed tatters will mirror their patterns. Okay? I don't know Lean Bjorn. Okay? I know of her, but I don't know if she's left-handed or right-handed. So what I do is I look at the pattern and I know which way my flow is, and that's the flow I follow. But I read through the pattern to make sure there's no surprises along the way that could confuse where a joint is. Okay? So with that said, after you get this motif done, you don't have anywhere to jump out to. So you have to cut it from the ball at that point, because you can't start this outer segment until you get the inner segment done. Does that make sense? That is why you need to use 2 shuttles. Anytime you've got a separated inside segment to a pattern, it is going to take 2 shuttles. Unless you want to tie a knot and use a ball, that's up to you. Okay? So, there you go. There's your answer. And if you have any more problems, let me know. Okay? And we'll figure them out together. Now, if it really gets detailed with you on this, then I can open up a private classroom and we can actually work the pattern together. Okay? And that offer is to any of you students. Okay? I can only do it one-on-one because it is a copywritten pattern. I can only do it with the student that's asking the question. So, there you go. Does that help you at all? If it does, give me a thumbs up. So, we can get that out of the way. Now, we got lots of goodies here. What I want to do, stick that in there. That is a fantastic book. It's got a lot of fairly simple patterns in it, and I would advise y'all to add it to your library. Crosses are great for people that have lost someone. And in the tatting community, if you've lost someone that's close to you, a lot of tatters will mail you a cross. And it's just to let you know they're there thinking, of you and so forth. So, yeah, let me zoom back out here. All right, now let's get into today's lesson. First thing, did you all print out all your goodies I had listed there? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you printed out everything, or at least saved it. This is stuff you need to know. This is all need to knows. All right, we got one yes. All right, got thumbs up. Awesome. Everybody say hi to Mary Jane. She's in class today. She wrote me before class, and she's here. Karen, did you save it? Because you can always go back. I'll tell you a little trick. Make you a folder on your desktop, on your computer desktop, laptop desktop, or on your phone. If you're using a phone, you can also do this on a tablet. Make a folder in your downloads directory and put all your materials in there. That way it's with you. Okay? So that said, today's lesson begins with how to use a picot gauge. Picot gauges are your friend. Okay? They're not your enemy. Although there's times that you would think they're your enemy because it's fiddly. Okay? But once you get down to the art of using one, they really can be a lifesaver, because a lot of patterns will give you the measurement on the picot gauge to use. And if you use it, then it doesn't matter if your tension's right or wrong. That picot will work and you won't get the buckling. Well, hi, Mary. How are you doing? Oh, don't worry about it, hon. It takes a little bit to get used to it. But anyway, your picot, measured picots, will bring everything in like it's supposed to, and it will also make it easier. It won't cause it to buckle. It won't cause it to cup up or anything, okay? It will lay as flat as it's supposed to. Now, there are patterns that use picots to make the piece draw up on itself, okay? Because it's supposed to be a three-dimensional pattern. So with that said, let's learn the two ways to use the picot gauge, okay? It's parallel to the core or the shuttle thread. All right, we're going to use this kind of picot. All right, hi, Nancy. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to get our fun little piece of thread here. And this is size 3 crochet cotton thread. We're going to work ourselves up a ring. Now, everybody watch what I'm doing. All right, we're going to do our first double stitch. Now, one of you asked about the Riego method yesterday or Tuesday. Let me show you that again. I've got my first double stitch in. You do the first double stitch the same way I'm doing the Riego method. You take this thread that goes to shuttle 1 or your working shuttle. You drape it across your finger like this. Okay, watch. It goes across like that. You see it's crossed? See? It's crossed there. And you come up the back, right up through the middle, between the two. Pull your shuttle out. Then take your finger out, let it do its thing, and put it back in. The Riego, you come up the back. Like that. You're always moving that middle finger, whether you do Riego method or regular slip and slide. The difference is Riego will cause the flip without you having to struggle. So all you folks that are struggling, use that Riego method for your benefit. Go over, come up between the two, go over it first, come up between the two. Try to work with one of these shuttles. It's no fun when you're used to tiny ones. All right, you come up through the middle, move your finger, and the flip occurs. Okay, come up through the back, pull your finger out, and the flip occurs. All right, so with that said, what we're going to do, I've got 3 double stitches on here. Now, we're going to do this one first. All right, so we lay our picot gauge right here, right next to our working thread. If we're doing Riego method, same thing. It goes over the picot gauge. Pull our finger out and pull that in. Totally let it slip off that picot. And that will happen with Riego. You have to be mindful. You gotta get it on there. Let's try this again. You want to pull that first half down to the base. Okay? And then we're going to come up the back. Pull it down to the base. And it's going to be right there at the bottom. Okay? There it goes. I don't normally make this kind of picot because it's too fiddly for my taste. All right? But that's it. Now, if you do it this way, okay, parallel to the coarse thread, the gauge says a 1/2 inch. You're getting a full 1/2 inch picot. If you put a picot in with it like this, with the stitch off to the side, let's see, watch what happens here. This picot is going to be half the size of that picot, or close by. Okay, there we go. You see the difference? It's going to be half the size. You got it, Bunny. You got it. I just want to be sure everybody can see everything, because I know some of this is really important that you see, but that's exactly a good way to describe it. I work with little shuttles. I'm using a boat. That's what it feels like. Now, I like my tatsies if I'm working on a project that needs a lot of loom thread. I like to call it loom thread. Whether it's a ring or a chain, it's in the loom, and that's where your thread's going to flip your stitches from. And if you are working on a huge doily using size 20 thread, remember this will hold a whole ball nearly of size 20 thread. So it makes working on the doily so much easier, and you don't have all those ends to have to tie in. It's a dream come true. I'm just saying, it's a dream come true. Now, back to these picots. If you notice, this one was done parallel to the core thread, or shuttle 1, working shuttle, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. Core, working shuttle, shuttle 1. Okay? If you lay it this way, you're getting the full size. If you lay it parallel, you get a half size. So if you are doing competition, they do measure your picots. You must know what size picot you're using in that pattern you did. And you have to list it on your registration. And they will go by and check your picots. So if you're doing it for, say, you're gonna win some money on your work, don't use these handmade. Use these. These are true measure. Okay? And you can use these the same way, okay? Parallel, which, again, we're working with another boat. We've got a second boat in here. Or another cannoli. Nothing like 2 cannolis in the hand. All right? So you would do it this way, okay, to get the full measure. Or you can do it this way and get the half measure. and you would pick, if you did it this way, if you did a 1/4 inch, you would actually get a 1/2 inch picot. I mean, an 1/8 inch. Excuse me, slap me into next week. But that's what it would be. It would be 1/2 of a 1/4, which is an 1/8. Okay? So, there you go. That's your picots. All right? Now, let me get this out of the way. Cut this. I'm going to use my parrot scissors today. Where we're parked, the lady has a cockatiel, and it talks. It cuts loose every once in a while. They trim its feathers, or what is it? They snip their feathers so they can't fly. She still flies. And every once in a while, Dennis has to go out and help him chase her down. And I just love that bird. It's just beautiful, and it's so silly. It'll make you laugh. But that's why I chose it today, because she's been squawking down there all morning. All right, now, that out of the way. The next thing we're going to learn about is reverse work, turn work, and rotate work. Now, reverse work. Let me show you. Let me get a pattern piece if I can remember where I put it. I know I put it somewhere. Let me get it. Don't want to run over my dog. She's right under my feet today. She says, Mom, I come for a visit. All right, let me get my patterns out. My little pattern pieces. We're going to do that one. Okay? So that you can see what reverse work, turn work, and all looks like on a pattern. Now, this here is the front side of the pattern. Okay? Now, the line of progression is left to right. Okay? So that means your tatting is moving from the left to the right. Unless a left-handed tatter designed the piece and did not consider there's more right-handed people than left-handed people, and she wrote it with left-handed instructions and forgot to put left-hand tatter. Okay? So you're going to run into it. It's not you, it's the tatter. Just mirror it. Okay? But line of progression is left to right. So this, say we started right here on this ring, the line of progression would be this ring, come down, this ring, come down, this ring, and so forth. Line of progression is left to right. For lefties, it's right to left. Okay? Now, that comes into play with your terms. All right? The first term that is the most common term used in the tatting community is reverse work. Now, reverse work is what shuttle tatters use and needle tatters. Okay? Please understand, we're not turning our work. That has its own set of rules. We are reversing the work. And when you reverse the work, the top becomes bottom. The bottom becomes the top. Okay? So you will go from the front of the piece that's down here to the back of the piece. You'll be looking at the back side of your work. So again, reverse work. Top becomes bottom. Bottom becomes top. Everybody write that down. Remember it. Because that you will see everywhere you go. Okay? The next is turn your work. Okay? Now when you turn your work, here's how you turn your work. Like the pages of a book. You just turn it over. And the back becomes the front. Front becomes the back. Okay? You're turning it like the pages of a book. Okay? Write that down. The next thing we're going to learn is rotating our work. Now, if we had a clock, and this was 12 o'clock, and this was 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Watch what I'm doing. If I rotate my work, I will go from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Okay? So, rotating our work is 1/4 turn to the right. Now, there are patterns that say 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. Some of them will hit in between those numbers. Just remember, it's turning to the right. Okay? So that is rotate work. Now, needle tatters use rotate work a lot in their work because they have to turn their work to get the needle in place. Okay? That is where the term turn comes in a lot of times, but it's not really turn, it's rotate. So if you have to rotate your work to put your needle in place for the next element, that's what you're doing. You're rotating. You're not turning. All right, I'm hearing thunder. Let me have a gander. I just want to see how black it is out there. Yeah, it's up north of us. Let it stay north and I'll be happy. Okay, so rotating our work, we turn it whatever degree the pattern calls for to the right. Well, now we got left-handed tatters, so what are they going to do? They're going to rotate it to the left. Okay? Everybody got that? When you turn the pages of the book, you're going to turn them to the left. Everything is opposite on these instructions for lefties as it is for righties. For needle tatters, you use the correct terms, but it's different. It's made different. And that is where it comes into play when I say needle tatters can follow shuttle tatters patterns. They just need to know the correct terms and what it means. So you'll know what you need to do. So if they want you to rotate your work to put the needle in place where it needs to go, it's rotate. Because if you turn your work, you're turning the page, you're getting the back of the work. That's not what you want. You want to turn the work to align your needle, or do you want to rotate your work to align the needle? You want to rotate it. Okay, so remember, that's where these terms can confuse the tar out of you. I suggest everybody learn basic needle tatting. As I showed in Tuesday's class, needle tatting lends its way to different techniques, more so than shuttle. And it's all up to the tatter which one does what. All right? So remember these rules. These are tatting rules. Just like in crochet, you've got rules that you have to do to reach a certain goal in your crochet project. Same with tatting. We have rules. All right? Now, the next thing, we've got that covered. Everybody got that under your hat? Let me know if you have. We got a lot to get through. All right, Kathy got it. So, the next thing we want to look at is pattern charts and how you read a pattern. Okay? Now, this handout, this page, it was a wonderful resource. Okay? The lady that put this page up, put it up years ago. I have hunted high and low for where it's moved to and so forth, and it has fell off the web. You can't get this documentation anymore. So please save this, okay? Because this is going to save your bacon when reading patterns. Now, these are 2 ways of written patterns here. Let me scoot this up so we get in shot. These 2, sample 1 has 2 ways that written patterns are written. And this is how diagrams are written. Yeah, that was my mistake, Mary. I'm going to have to correct it. I was not thinking because I was watching out the window. We had black clouds moving in, and I didn't know if we was going to have more lightning or not. I didn't want to lose class because when I'm running a private class, if we get bounced out, I can't get back in. The class ends at that point. So I was doing 2 things at once, and I should know better. I'm just saying I should very well know better. The old video that's up, that is the one you need to follow. Because yesterday or Tuesday when I did the block tatting, oh Lord have mercy. You really don't want to know. But I was watching out the window. The window's right here in front of me. And I was watching out the window at this black cloud coming in. And man, she was a doozy. So follow the videos I shared, okay? So back to this. Now, we've got the first sample. We've got a second, a third, and a fourth. And on the back page, it explains quite a bit, okay? And it's up to you which sample you like. Now, you get a pattern. Say you like this first one. You really like the sample 1. But you get sample 4 that's lengthy and wordy and so forth. Okay, you need help understanding the following. Picot 1 times 15. Leave about a 1/4 inch of thread before beginning next ring. Okay, you're working bare thread space, Esther. From what I'm reading there, it looks to be bare thread space. And what you're doing, the instructions, not destructions, instructions are saying you're going to use the 1/4 inch of thread between each double stitch of 15 double stitches, okay? You're going to leave this 1/4 inch of thread, and that's going to be your picot. I would really have to look at the whole pattern. If you can share the name of the pattern with me, I can look that up, and then you don't understand the writing. It is confusing, and I can see that. Which pattern are you doing? And then I can walk you through. Okay? Just give me the name of the pattern, because it depends on the designer how they write their patterns, and they all should come with a legend. But I got news for you folks. I have seen patterns that didn't have no legend, and you're sitting there going, okay, what do you expect me to do with this? That's, if you want to share the pattern with me, Esther, I can meet you after class in the classroom, you and me, and we can work it out together if you'd like. Just let me know. But that's what I'm reading. They're using 1/4 inch between. Pattern by Susan Filippo, April 2000. Which pattern by Susan? Because I'm not familiar with her. Is it a needle pattern? The Base of Lilac? I've never heard of that one, Esther. Send it to the class email. Let me look at it. And then I will give you a complete written pattern that you can understand. If that's okay, I can do that for you. It's not a problem. Because I'm not familiar with her. She sounds, maybe she's Spanish. And they have a whole different set of rules. I don't know where they get them from. So, but just email me the pattern and I'll walk it through for you. If you can wait until then. Like I said, I don't mind writing it up for you, hon. Not at all. Because that, to me, is what I'm reading is 2, join, and then you've got 1 double stitch, and then in parentheses, you've got a picot 1 times 14. So that means you're going to do 14 double stitches with a picot in between. And it's a 1/4 inch thread space. Okay, when you're in parentheses, let me find one on this chart from class. And we didn't get one. Of course, why not? That is too simple. Okay, when there is a pattern that has parentheses in it, just like yours. Let me walk you through this, hon. Get my mouse up here so I can see the written form. Okay, it's ring 1, okay? And it says 1 picot 1 times 15. That means you're going to do a double stitch. You're going to put in the picot, and you're going to do 15 more double stitches with a picot in between each. And then you're going to do 1, and you're going to close the ring. Then you're going to leave a 1/4 inch of bare thread space between that ring and the start of the next ring. Does that make sense to you? And then the next one would read the same thing. Okay? It would read like this. Your ring 2, you're going to put 2 double stitches. You're going to join to ring 1, okay? It doesn't tell you which picot, and I'm guessing it's probably the very last picot. And then you're going to do a picot 1, and then a picot, and 14 double stitches, okay? And each double stitch is going to have a picot in between. And then you're going to do 1 double stitch and close that ring, and then you're going to get in, put another 1/4 inch bare space, 1/4 inch bare thread space after each ring. Does that make sense now? Does that help you? That was good. That was a good brain question there, Esther. That was really a good brain question. Made me stop and think for a second. Yeah, the parentheses can confuse you, especially if what's in the parentheses is not well versed. That's where your tatting knowledge comes from. All this stuff that I give you helps you build on that tatting knowledge so that when you run into like what Esther's run into, it can help you. Oh, you're very welcome, Esther. Very welcome. If you have any more problems, write me and we'll get into the classroom. We'll work it out, okay? Not a problem, hon. Now, let's see. Where are we at? Okay, back to the patterns. Writing. Okay, now you've got people that really like to step outside the box and write a pattern that looks like this, okay? When it could have looked like this. This here is wordy, what I call wordy. When a pattern is this wordy, I will sit down with a notebook and I will write each step of that pattern out in that notebook. Nancy, no, it isn't. For educational purposes, I can help her with the pattern. I cannot share the pattern with anyone. I can only help her with the pattern that she is working with, and it has to be a private classroom. and it will not come out on video. Nobody will ever see that video. I have to delete it immediately. That's right. You didn't. You did fine, Esther. But yes, there is a clause in the copyright for educational purposes only. And because I am a school, I apply under that. Not really a school, an educational purpose is what I am. I teach classes. So, and that's what I say. If I don't have the pattern, I wouldn't be much of a teacher if I couldn't help her. Just like the pattern that Tanya needed help with. Wasn't it Tanya? No, Vanessa. I shared what I needed to share publicly. That is legal. There's no stitch counts or nothing. Now, if she needed time with me, I would pull out the pattern, because most of the patterns I do have, unless they're an older pattern. I don't have all the older patterns. I'm still collecting vintage books. So, needless to say, if I don't have the pattern, they can share the pattern with me, but I'm not allowed to keep it. I am not allowed to have it in my possession unless I purchase it. But I can use the pattern to help her. No, that was a good question, Nancy. It was a good question. And Esther, she did no wrong. Right. Exactly, Mary. You got it on point. I'm not selling. It's not going public, and I'm not showing it public. It is like Esther and I sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, and she needs help with a pattern, and she shows me it in the book, and I walk her through it. So that's what you have to look at. Is it publicly being displayed, or is it privately being displayed? Okay, that was a good question. Boy, y'all are just on your toes today. Testy, testy, testy teacher. I love it. All right, anyway, back to this. If you have a problem reading patterns, remember, you can sit down with this one, this pamphlet here, and it will walk you through. Yeah, it is good to know. It's good to know it, Nancy. I mean, if you're going to help people, remember, you can do that by being in educational mode. You're walking them through a pattern. You're not taking it and giving it away to people. You love the buttons. Which buttons? On the motif? Yeah, I need, and Lord have mercy, a frog crawled in my throat. These are many different ways that people write their patterns. And if you look at it and you find something like this one that is wordy, you can see how you can write it so that you can read it. Now, anything that I rewrite in what I call layman's terms so that it's easier to follow, I will staple it to that page in a book some way with a paper clip, staple even, okay? But I'll show you what Pam got me, and it's been the best thing since sliced cheese. This doesn't damage your papers, but it will clip things. Let me show you this. And she got it, and I found the refills on Amazon and found more of these. You just, they're little metal things, and you put them down there, and you push, and it holds it. You're done with it, you pull it off. And, but Pam got this for me. She says, you use paper clips and stuff. You need something that'll hold it. And she brought that to me a couple of years ago, and I've had it ever since. And I bought more of these little clip things because I do clip a lot of things. And because when I'm working on a pattern, like I say, if I change, yeah, that's it. If I have to write out a pattern because it is too wordy, put that paper with that pattern and you've got it forever. Okay, tip for you. So now you pick out your version that you can read easily on here. And that version is what you want to use when you do your rewriting of those wordy patterns. Okay? So keep this handy. All right? Now, the next thing is more about reading and writing patterns. Okay? This falls in line with the previous text document. Okay? And I want you to read through this. I swear this frog's got to go somewhere besides my throat. I want you to read through it. If you don't understand, this is Georgia's own article. Okay? Read it and understand it. She explains it very, very simply so you can understand it. But if you have problems, don't hesitate to contact me. I can help you through whatever you need help with. I've got more than these documents. Oh, my word. I've got dictionaries full, okay? So everything that I sent you for class today, you will use at one point or another. Now, the tatting abbreviations from Jillian Buchanan. Jillian is a student with the classes. And this came from Georgia's Bella Online. Now, Shuttlebirds has adapted this and put it up on their website. You will need to bookmark this website because they've got everything on there you could possibly need and then some. Now, we also have Palmetto's. There's this 2-page. This here is the terms you have to use when you write a pattern and you want to teach it at Palmetto's Tat Days. These are the terms they require because it's easy for everybody to be on the same page than it is to be on 15 pages. Okay? So they've adapted everything and they fix it up so people know. Okay? So keep this one. If you ever go to Palmetto's, have this handy because it'll help you a lot. All right? Now, I want you to read over all this documentation. And then, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a pattern that you like, and I want you to write it out. And I want you to tell me what you thought of the way you wrote it out. Is it easier for you to understand, or is it a problem for you to understand? Do you need to do something different? Okay? And you'll learn more in depth with the writing a pattern out at when Susan Fuller comes back for design class. Okay? She's coming back sometime in September. I don't know when. But when she comes back to teach her classes, you ought to attend it because she can talk to you till the cows come home about reading patterns. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next thing at hand. All right, you're working bare thread space. This right here is your best friend when working bare thread space. Now, Esther, this is for you. You pull off a Post-it pad. You take this first page up here where it's sticky. You mark that quarter mark. You fold that paper over on that quarter mark. Okay? And then you come across. Okay? Now, take your scissors, cut right along beside that, all the way across. All right? You fold that paper like that on that bare thread space. Esther, as you're tatting that pattern, do this. You've got a ring. Say there's a ring here. Drop the space next to your ring, and then start your ring right here. That's your bare thread space measure. And you don't have to fight with this. You don't have to fight with this because it's right there. So there's you another tidbit of information that you can use when you're working with bare thread space. There's a lot of patterns out that are bare thread space between each one. So try that. Now, next thing, when working stacked or picots that go different sizes. One of these is your friend because you can go from here up or from here down and get equal uniform picots for your different sized picots. Okay. Let me show you here. I've got some in my book. I'll show it to you. Like this, right here. You see that? That little pattern. Let me pull it out for you. I know, baby girl, it's thundering and she's trying to crawl up my legs. This one here. See how they're variegated in size? That's how you do it. Using that one picot gauge. Now, I showed you last week you can make one. As long as it's like it's supposed to be, you can do whatever you want. But try that. Okay? Now, yes, I got more to add in here. As far as your sample book, you can use one like this. But for people that don't have the money right now but want to start a sample book, you can use a miniature composition book, and each page could be a sample. Okay? You can use one of these little spiral notebooks you get at Dollar Tree. Each page could be 2 samples. You could use front and back. You just glue whatever you need to do. Okay? You can get larger sample books. You can get some that are inspiring sample books. You can even get larger or larger composition books right here. It's up to you what you use. My first sample book was one of these. I don't even have it anymore. Okay? So there it is. That's my first sample book. So what you make your sample book out of is all you. Now, me, if I was using one of these little notebooks, I would decorate the outside to reflect who I am and, you know, make it my personal book. Or for you journalists, you can make something like this. If you make your own journals, make something like this and put blank papers in it. You can dye them. You can, you know, have grid sheets, whatever you want. Okay? And you can put them in there. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? What you can use for a sample book? Because you need your sample book. Now for homework, I want everybody to create their sample book. Okay? Mary, you would do good with this. That I know. She does junk journaling. Okay? Her and I are on that same wavelength. Derby does too. Yeah, a lot of my friends are like that. We all dabble in different kinds of treats and fun things. So, that's your homework. I want everybody to make their tatting book. And it's called a tatting book because what you put in it will be there forever for you. If you put samples in there of your work, then you can reflect back on your work. If you put thread sizes of your work, it can reflect back. You can, it's a form of quick grab information to walk you through your tatting journey. And then as you go along in there, your sample book, it's going to get bigger. So you have to have another sample book. In 4 years, come back and look at it, and you will see your tatting journey in thread. Okay? Now, if you decide to work on the monster doily, take a picture and put it in your sample book. The doily's not going to fit in here. Wow, Mary. I tell you, I'm impressed. I am impressed. I wouldn't have given up the journal, though. Some of your journals are really, really pretty. Just think it through, Karen. Make it you. This is a direct reflection of you and your journey, your personal journey. So make it yours. Yeah. And see, you, Mary, you can take that information that you took notes in memo books and put it in your tatting book. So that's what I want you to do. Create your sample book because, folks, you are fixing to get slammed with samples. Okay? Esther, that is awesome. That is awesome. I like that idea. It keeps it from getting dirty. How do I store a large doily? Very carefully. I would get some tissue paper. If you're going to store it for any length of time, fold it neatly. Okay? And then wrap it in plain white tissue paper, not colored. It will bleed through. Put it in a box to store. And then put the box in a cedar chest, something that bugs won't get into, critters won't get into, because they will find their way. Yeah, Kendra's got it. Yeah, Esther, in a plastic sleeve would work. But those big doilies, you'd have to have like a zippy bag. I'll tell you what I use for larger stuff that I want to keep and store. Buy these. And you put them in there, and then you suck the air out of them. If you've got one of those sealers that you run across, it will keep it airtight. Okay? But I'm telling you, be careful. Thread needs to breathe or it dry rots. You're putting patterns in a binder? Yes, do so. I can show you what I use. And these are purchase patterns. So I'm just going to show you the outsides. And these are all by designer. Okay? And that's what I use to store my books. It keeps them, the paper bound books. It keeps them clean. Yeah, I got a box that says UFOs. Well, actually, it says whips. If somebody come in here and sing that, they'd think I was really strange. All right. If you're going to store multiple ones, you can stack them. Just make sure you've got that tissue paper between them so that if you're using colored thread on one, it won't bleed through to the other. You want to prevent bleed through at all costs, because if something gets wet, That dye can come out of that thread. I've had that happen. Yeah, you can stack them. Just lay them flat. So, yeah, I know, Mary. I know. I can so relate. And in tatting, you're going to have a lot of whips. Trust me, you're going to, because you'll be working on something and it's a big, massive project, like the never ending veil. Um, it will wear you out and you have to find other things to fill the gaps. Well, that's a whip. I've got a bin that sits over here that's nothing but half finished projects. And then I've got the one trim that I've been working on forever and a day. And it's what I used to teach with. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can store it. Just remember, thread needs to breathe. If it doesn't, it will dry rot. All of my thread is stored in little plastic bins that have air gaps. Okay, you had to fall off. Why? I don't know. You just felt necessary. But I've got plastic bins that have little handle holes in the end of them, and that's what I put them in. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Mary. That's a good tip. Yep. Just send it to the online tatting class email and I will get it and then we can work on it together, okay? But from the sound of things, I may not be able to help you tonight. Is that okay, Esther? I can help you tomorrow. Do you want me to set up a time for a private classroom with you? Yeah, one of those would be great for everybody to take. Yeah, you could use that. You want me to set it up tomorrow then? I will. I'll send you an email. With just, I tell you what, when you send the pattern, tell me what's a good time for you. I'm available unless the doctor's office calls me. If they call me tomorrow, how's it going? And I'll let you know. We'll just schedule it for later. Oh, Mary, we read typos. That's up to you, Esther. I'm good anytime after 10 a.m. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Yes, ma'am. Handy Hands carries this. You see it? And it has 7 books in this series, 24 snowflakes and tatting, tatted handkerchiefs, tatted butterflies, tatted bookmarks, tatted animals, tatted Easter eggs, and tatted doilies. If you can find all 7 books, good luck. But Handy Hands, I think, has got 4 of them. So, yeah. Beautiful patterns. Beautiful. That whole series has got some really neat stuff. Okay, Esther. Bunny, I have the same problem. But Handy Hands, it's just the tip of the iceberg. When I go to tat days, it's like I've already paid my credit card off and, you know, it goes back up real fast at, tat days. But there is a lot of vendors at tat days that are mom and pop places, design people. And I like to buy from those that are homegrown stores is what I call. Oh, I'm doing fine. It's just my blood pressure likes to sit on the moon. It's working its way to Jupiter. And it's because my medicine's no longer working on it. I've been on it 42 years. And it's just not working. And the last time they gave me blood pressure medicine, I taught class knowing I was swelling up. And we left right after class. And I got to the doctor's and I had a full body rash going and my throat was closing up. I had angioedema. No, they don't. It's just a warehouse. They should open up a brick and mortar, but Barb doesn't want to do that. She says it's all she can handle with just the warehouse. So are there any more questions? Esther, you send me that and then tell me what time you want to have and then I'll set it up. And then you'll get notified of the setup. You're on Facebook, correct? If you are on Facebook, I'll just instant message you the link. She really is. I met her years ago, and she's a sweet lady. She's absolutely sweet as can be. And she's all business, but she's very, very kind. She'll help you with anything. Oops. There's another one. All right. I am going to hop off here and call it a day. Esther, go ahead and send that email in. Okay. I'll look you up on Facebook and direct message you through Facebook the link. Okay? Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. No, she won't. All she does is make thread and supply goodies to us. She does needle tat. She's an avid needle tatter. She's got several videos up on her page, on her Handy Hands page. So go check them out. Oh, y'all are welcome. Oh, I will. I'm pretty grounded. I got rubber tires under me. Well, if I see her again, I'll let her know. We want to interview her. You're welcome, Esther. Yeah, they need to. I tell you, I'm just done with all this weather. I'm tired of the heat and look forward to the rain, but the thunder, lightning, and tornadoes can go somewhere else. I don't want them. Well, Georgia's going to be there again this year. Okay, I will. Thank you, Derby. Thank you, RD. All right, folks, I'm gone. I will see you all on Tuesday. We got another fun class planned because we are heading in for Christmas in July. So there you go. We're doing a whole series in July on Christmas in July. Both classes is going to have some fun with Christmas in July. So I'll see you all next week. Happy tatting, everyone, and may your threads all make beautiful lace. Have a great day and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye. All right, Esther, I got it.